What's up, my homie sapiens? It's me, Melonie Mac here. I just got back from the gym. As usual, I'm a mess. Why am I always a mess every time I make YouTube videos? I don't know. I don't get dressed up for YouTube videos anymore. Apparently, this is, well, at least I put on my makeup, so, I mean, some efforts were made. Anyway, let's get to the video. Sponsor plug first. I mean, code MAC. 30% off at the time of me recording this video. No, for real though, this flavor is so freaking good. Let me jump straight into this. Now, if you're watching this, it's because, I imagine a lot of you have, I know a lot of you have been requesting this video for months now. I'm going on a year on my journey before I finally have made the video, because I'm just like, I'm constantly like, well, I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm not where I want to be yet. And so if I keep thinking that I'm never going to get to the video, because quite frankly, it takes years to actually hit your goals. I mean, depending on where they are. But for me to hit my goals, you know, I understand it's probably going to take me years. It's not going to be an overnight thing. Though, granted, I already have made drastic improvements. And I am just extremely excited about, and I've exceeded expectations of what I would be able to do. So it's nice. Now, let me just put a picture over here over the video. Now, this is what I shared recently, my latest pictures. Sometimes you forget. Like, I forget as I keep going through things, and I don't think, like, in the back of my mind, I don't realize the progress I've made until I take the pictures. So that's why it's extremely important, I think, with your health journey in general, to take pictures, because it goes so far beyond just weighing yourself or this or that. I do not weigh myself, except maybe like once or twice a year. Multiple reasons why I don't, but yeah, I won't go into that. I'm going to get a little more into that later. There's just so much to unpack here. So let me get the disclaimers out here first. I'm also going to have timestamps in the description that go over everything I'm going to talk about, because I have a lot, and I have notes here, 7 pages of notes. This isn't even a script. It's just notes. So this is going to be a long video, most likely. So again, these timestamps in the description might help you. So this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to talk about my progress, diet-wise. I'm going to talk about what I do and what has helped me for a number of reasons, both on my fitness journey and my health in general. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at my notes. Also, with that, because this has just been a huge passion for me, and it's something I study. I can't even tell you how many hours I put into studying just nutrition. And that's something I want to pursue, is getting my nutrition license. So that'll be fun. So anyway, that, and with that, a little over a month ago, I went on my Discord and reached out to my community there, and I said, hey, does anybody want coaching from me? Just to see what I can do, because I've coached my family with their diet and stuff, and when they've stayed on it, I've seen great results from them. Unfortunately, they don't always stay on it, because I mean, food is delicious, and so it's easy to get off track sometimes. So I thought, let me just try and see what happens, because you know, I think that doing coaching would be fun, but you know, I'm doing this for free with them, not getting paid, because my motivation here is just to help people. And I think, you know, I've seen my own progress and stuff, so I want to be able to help people reach their goals. I think that's awesome. I mean, maybe in the future, after I get like my nutrition license, if that's something I want to pursue, then I might do that at a more professional level. But at any rate, right now, no, I'm just doing this to help people, and I don't want any money from people for that. Now, if you want to support my content, that's another story. But anyway, I'm going to show you some progress, because I've taken on quite a few people from my community who, you know, I've given them a PDF of some guidelines, and I will share that in the description. So if you want to try this yourself, you can do that. Now, again, wait for my disclaimers before you do that, because I'm not a professional. I'm not licensed or anything like that. So this is a completely at-will thing, and at your own discretion. Now, I'm also going to go in depth about the exercise portion of things and how I've done things, and it's been a trial and error thing for me. All that good stuff. Now, let me get to the disclaimers. Again, check out those timestamps if you don't want to hear all these disclaimers, but I have to get these out here for multiple reasons. The biggest reason being just covering my own tracks here so people don't try to sue me or something. So, first disclaimer, I'm not a professional. Okay? Take what I say with a grain of salt. These are my opinions based off of years of research. Some of this stuff is literally years of research, though, when it comes to, like, the way I eat. And my own anecdotal results, okay? I definitely believe in absolutely everything I'm saying here, okay? But I do have to make this disclaimer for my own safety, I guess you could say. Again, I ain't trying to get sued. So, if you decide to follow my advice based off the PDF that I share in the description or in this video or anything else I say on social media, just know this is at will for you. I'm not responsible if something happens to you and if this doesn't work for you. Just saying that. However, I don't think, like I said, I strongly believe in it, but I just have to cover my tracks here, so that's why I'm saying it. Blah, 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 all that stuff. Also want to say, if you're vegan, you probably don't want to watch this video, because diet-wise, I follow the carnivore diet. It's a meat-based diet, so yeah. If you're vegan, I respect what you do and keep doing what you do. If it was working for you, awesome. Do it, dude. There's some vegans who get great results. I personally did not when I did it. And I personally don't even think vegan is optimal for a multitude of reasons. But that's just me. My opinion doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just an opinion like everybody else, okay? So, yeah, if you're a vegan, you may not want to watch this video. So, up to you. Also, let me say, my way is not the only way. I mean, this should go without saying, but I have to say this because people will get mad. And they act like anytime I share anything, when I share stuff and how things work for me, they act like I'm saying this is the only way you can get fit. It's not. It's just what I feel to be optimal because it is for me. And out of everything I've tried, it's been optimal for me. And yeah, I do absolutely would recommend this to people to try if you want to try to get similar results to me. But at the end of the day, yeah, it worked for me, and I personally find it optimal. But I am aware that everybody is different, so you do your own research and do what works best for you. More power to you. I'm all about it. Okay. I think I covered most of my bases here. So, if you still get mad after I made all these disclaimers, then go cry about it. All right. Now, let's hop into the video. Almost 10 minutes in, just got past the disclaimers. This is going to be a long one, so buckle up. Now, I'm going to talk about diet, all right? Now, I used to, when you talk about how I've eaten most of my life, I was mostly plant-based most of my life. That's just the type of foods I always preferred. Not completely plant-based, though, because I've always liked dairy a lot, like cheese and stuff. Granted, I have gone completely plant-based before, but only for like 3 months because I've never been freaking sicker in my life. And people will tell me, people get mad about it and they say, oh, it's because you didn't do it right. You didn't do it right. You were just eating cake and crap. Dude, that's not even true. Okay. Like, they didn't know. First of all, you don't know what I eat. But second of all, I legit paid for a meal service and everything that was supposed to have everything balanced. Blah, blah, blah. But again, never felt sicker, never felt weaker than when I was plant-based. Again, as I said in the beginning, if it works for you, do it. Because, like, some people actually make it work and they're thriving and good for them. But it did not work for me. And I can go on and on about why I think it's not optimal for most people, but I'm not going to do that. I'll save that for another video. Now, I stumbled on the carnivore diet, just basically like keto and low carb stuff. So if you're not into a low carb diet, and you don't like it, and you don't want it, then don't do it. You probably don't even want to watch this video because I'm going to go on about it. Now, I firmly believe, and this is kind of what's made me turn into somewhat of a conspiracy theorist in general, is I firmly believe that the food pyramid makes people fat. And I'll go into a video. I'll make a whole video about this, honestly, later. But I have to watch myself or I'll go on a tangent. But, like, look at how much of the world even is fat and sick and has autoimmune diseases and stuff. People ain't used to have that many. You know what I mean? People ain't used to be this sick. that food pyramid is messed the heck up, dude. It really is. It's not optimal. Again, this is my opinion, so whatever. So when I see the way our food guidelines are and how whack they are, just anecdotally, how I've improved my own health by going basically opposite of it, that's what makes me question pretty much anything and everything now. So I don't trust it. Let's move on. Now, I stumbled on Carnivore about 2 years ago. Okay, it's been like, 23 months now since I've been on the Carnivore diet. Absolutely thriving. My health has never been better. Now, let me kind of go into detail on this. I stumbled on it at first because I was in keto groups because I've heard of keto, and I used to do keto never long term because I always heard people say, don't do keto long term, it's bad for you, this and that and the other, and I just believed it. So I'd be like, oh, okay, if I just wanted to lean out a little bit more, because I've never been fat, but I've been like, a little squishy sometimes, skinny squishy, because I had no muscle, man. Like, I totally had a gamer bod, you know what I mean? Like, skinny squishy. And so I would do keto for about like a month or two at a time, get leaner. Wouldn't really have much of a muscle base still, so it didn't like totally fix the problem. But, I would be happy with it. And then I'd go back to eating whatever. Again, mostly plant-based. And yeah, I wasn't feeling the best. And I've also, but I'm in a lot of like Facebook groups and stuff because I learn a lot from them. So it's a specific keto group I was in. I happened to stumble on a topic that a woman made about endometriosis and how she went carnivore diet and how that helped her endometriosis. Now, to spare you all the details of my life and just going on and on about this, I've had endometriosis symptoms ever since like I had my first period at like 14. Like it's just been, I'm 34 now. It's just been a constant debilitating issue for me for a very, very long time. I'm telling you, if anybody who has endometriosis knows, like it is very debilitating, and not even just when you're on your period. It's like throughout your cycle in general, when it comes to like fatigue, bloating, pain, all that. So it's something I've dealt with for a huge, massive chunk of my life, and it makes your quality of life suck in a lot of ways because it's just hard to deal with. That said, let me clear things up. I never did get a laparoscopy, so I haven't had it confirmed that I absolutely 1000% had endometriosis, but like my doctors have said like they've wanted to do a lap, and they've said like, okay, these are all the symptoms, like you most likely have that, but we'd have to do a lap to 1000% confirm it. So I'm not going to say for 1000%, but I'm going to say that I've had endometriosis symptoms. So I'll leave it at that. Okay. Moving on. When I saw that, I've tried anything and everything from supplements to, whatever. I thought, vegan diet even. People have said that might help, and that's kind of like what's told for people with these with endometriosis and stuff like that to do. So I tried that. It never did help that. Again, this has been something that I've suffered with for most of my life. So I went carnivore just to try it, okay? And it took about like 3 months for my cycle to get normal, just as it does with any type of like hormone adjustment type things. Like if you were to take birth control pills, for example, you need about like 3 months or so just to have your hormones regulate again. So this is kind of the same difference because your diet does greatly affect your hormones. So it took about 3 cycles, I'd say. And I'm telling you, my endometriosis symptoms are like 80% improved ever since. Nothing in the history of my life have ever fixed it but this. And my quality of life has just been dramatically improved ever since. So because of that reason alone, I'm not looking back, dude. I'm not. That said, I was on the carnivore diet, more or less. I mean, I'm not ever completely perfect. There are times that, I know during the initial lockdowns of 2020, I fell off the wagon for like a month at one point. Oh gosh, and that was bad. But I could go on, like, I never felt sicker after that almost. Cause that'll mess you up. Once you already go into like eating this way, and then you go to eating junk food again, especially for more or less like somewhat extended periods of time, then oh my gosh, you'll think, how did I live like this? And so yeah. Anyway, I stuck with it for those reasons alone. However, I wasn't really working out consistently. for the first year that I did carnivore. So it didn't, so I didn't really have like any muscle, still, cause like I still lived a very sedentary lifestyle, streamer life and all that kind of stuff, gamer bod, all that. I did see some improvements in the skinny fat department, but not that drastic. Most of the improvements I had was just in my health in general. Energy levels, hormones are the main reason. That's the main reason why I even started carnivore. It's the main reason why I like to do it. Even though it does complement my fitness journey incredibly well. Now, again, I can go on a video more in depth with this in the future. But right now, since I have a lot of ground to cover, I'm going to leave it at that. Now, let's talk about marine training, because my marine training, and I have a series of videos about that. I'll put them all on a playlist and link in the description if you want to check that out so you can see my progress, what got me started in my fitness journey in general. Because again, I was never consistent with working out. I'd try and then fall off the wagon and all that kind of stuff. And so I got reached out to about doing this Marine campaign. This campaign with the Marines, like a sponsored series of videos with the Marines. And y'all know, a lot of y'all know, I grew up in a military family. My dad was in the Army for 21 years. My brothers, both Air Force. I almost joined the Army when I was younger, and I didn't because I ended up getting Fragdoll Cadet, excuse me, internship thing around that time, like literally right after I talked to a recruiter. So I went that route instead. And it's always been one of those things that in another life, I wish that I had joined the military. At least for, that initial first set of years or however. So whenever I got reached out to about this and doing a sponsored series with the Marines, I was like, freaking heck yes, dude. This is like the dream, dude. So I have so much love for our troops in general, and they are... I can't stress enough just how much I look up to our troops of all branches. And, they're the true heroes. For me, you just don't get more heroic than our troops. So this was like a 4-month thing where the Marines trained me and all that kind of stuff. And again, check out that series of videos because I explain everything and you can see all that if you so wish to see how that went. I 1,000% credit the Marines for getting me started and motivated and keeping me motivated. Because, they still keep in touch with me on social media and are cheering me on when they see me do my gym posts and stuff like that. And, dude, they're just the best. They are the freaking best. So, yeah, seriously, one of the best experiences of my life. And I have stopped talking about it or I'll start crying because they are heroes, man. Okay, I'm gonna keep going because I don't want to cry. So... let me get more in depth I'm going to start with diet here. I'm going to talk about diet, and then I'm going to talk about the results that I've, that the people I've coached, I consider them friends, but initially started out just from my community, as, just in my Discord server, right? I want to share because they gave me permission to share their photos and everything. And I'm just like freaking blown away. I have studied carnivore diet, especially in particular, the one that I feel the most confident about, carnivore/keto. I truly think you cannot get better in terms of health, in general, but I digress. There's so many people who disagree with me and yeah, whatever. Disagree. I don't care. Now, okay, I'm going to go to my experiences first. Again, over a year before I start my fitness journey, I noticed drastic health improvements and some physical improvements aesthetically that I liked. But again, I didn't really have much of a muscle base to work with, partially because of the way that I ate and my sedentary lifestyle for most of my life. Okay, the gamer bod, the skinny fat bod, right? So... as I started my fitness journey, then my focus was building muscle. Now, I'm not trying to get yoked out of my mind, okay? I like to be strong. I like to be strong for practical reasons, and I do like the aesthetic of it. But again, I ain't trying to, get huge. First of all, that would be extremely difficult as a woman for me to even do. So, let me just clarify that. I'm just trying to be stronger and have that, shredded Lara Croft aesthetic. That's my goal, and so I'm getting there. It does take time. Now, again, I should have added this to my disclaimer, but if you're looking at me for when you look at me, or especially anybody else who's a lot more fit than me, who's been doing this for years and years and years, you got to realize that you're not going to have drastic results overnight. Now, granted, I feel like my results were drastic very fast, and the people I've been coaching as well. However, you have to have your expectations in check, because if you see like a fitness model, for example, and you're like, I want to look like that in a month, like that ain't gonna happen. I understand for myself it's gonna take years for me to get it's probably gonna take a couple of years or so for me to get the aesthetic that I'm like, oh yeah, this is my goal, this is it. But in the meantime, I'm really enjoying the progress that I'm getting. And I'm very pleased and happy with how I've improved. So yeah, just saying, make sure you keep your expectations in check. And every body is built different. Everybody has different body shapes. Everybody has different strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so if you're looking at somebody for inspiration, don't expect yourself to look exactly like them, because you might be built different. Also, there's a ton of other variables. Like, I could look at a fitness model and be like, oh, I wish I looked like her, but she could have like breast implants or something. I can't, unless I were to do that, then I wouldn't look like her, because, but you just gotta be, I personally think you gotta be happy in your own skin, and however your body looks and however you get it. With fitness, the important part is to be fit and healthy, and however that looks on you is ideal for you. So be happy with it, because even if you wish you looked like somebody else, there's so many people who wish they had your body shape. You know what I mean? So love it and be happy with that. I don't care, like, if you're a woman, I don't care if you ain't got no titties. You know what I mean? You could get fit and have like no titties at all. It's fine. You're perfect. Like, don't let things that you see make you feel like you have to look a certain way, or that you're not as womanly and you're not as beautiful because you ain't got no titties, or maybe you don't have a butt, or whatever it is. I mean, you can, with a butt department, you can build one a little bit more easier. Yeah, that, but okay, I'm going to go on a tangent. So let me just say, you're perfect how you are genetically, biologically, all that good stuff. Okay. So work with what you got and love it. I will say off the bat, I do not encourage surgeries. This is another video, but I do not encourage surgeries. They're not good for you. Okay. They're not. And I'm just going to say it. As much as, I could tell anybody how to live their life. I'm all about freedom. So any woman who wants to get boob job, like, you do what you're going to do. It's none of my business. Okay. But I do want to stress, and I want to say for my viewers, and anybody who may want to get something like that done, or whatever other procedure, you don't need it. Okay. I'm just going to say you don't need it. It's not good for you. There are so many like health issues that come out of getting foreign objects placed in your body. This also goes with filler and things like that. And I've fallen into the trap before with filler. I had my lips done before. I had my lips done for a couple of years there, and I got them dissolved because, first of all, I looked at older pictures and I was thinking, dude, when I had lip filler, it looked stupid. Like, but it doesn't even matter if it didn't. Doesn't even matter if it looked perfect. Regardless, it just, I don't know. You don't need it. You don't need it. That's my opinion. And so when I got the lip filler dissolved, all that kind of stuff, you're getting foreign things in your body. Okay. I don't like it, but that's just me again. Free country, free multiple countries, depending on where you're from. Do what you want to do. But I'm going to say, don't look at what XYZ influencer or fitness person, especially if they've had surgeries, and expect to look like them, or feel like you have to get a surgery to look like them. I do not encourage it. I like to be as natural as possible for myself and my own health, and I also encourage that for other people, because when you get foreign objects inserted in your body, I don't care what anybody freaking says, it's not good for you, okay? It's not. It's not. And there are a lot of issues that people have had with it. Not to say that every single person who gets these done will have issues, but yeah. All right. Sorry, 26 minutes long. I ain't even jumped into it because I'm going on tangents. Anyway, let me move on. Now, for the Marine training when I first started, now my goal was to be able to get some pull-ups going, or at least get one, which I never could get to a point where I could do a complete pull-up in that 4 months. Now, when I'm in my when I use my pull-up bar at home, which is in the door frame, then I could do one, but I'm standing and then it's starting from here. So it wasn't like a dead hang and then pull up. That's difficult as a woman, especially. It would take a lot of work. And I kind of quit doing pull-ups or trying to do pull-ups after that. Dude, okay, hold on. I'm like getting ahead of myself on this video. Let me stay on track. Okay, let me stay on track. All right, so anyway, I was focused on these practical things, okay? And then my biggest thing, since I started out with almost no muscle, I'm telling you, I had almost no muscle, especially upper body, the most frail, weak upper body. All right? Now, because of that, my focus was muscle building. I didn't focus on... I wasn't that strict with general macros except for just the carbs, because again I follow a carnivore / keto type diet, so I don't eat carbs. And people have told me, well, if you want to build muscle, you need to eat carbs. And so I did try it here and there a little bit to see, but again, since I had already been over a year being fat adapted on the carnivore diet, and when I say fat adapted, I mean burning fat for fuel instead of carbs. I'll go into a little bit of detail on this, and then I'll save the big explanation for another video. But at any rate, my progress was worse. I started adding rice to my food just to see, because I'm like, well, people are telling me this, let me try it. So I started adding rice and all that kind of stuff. Dude, my lifts were not as good. I was not progressing as well, and I felt like crap. So I cut all that out and got back on track. And I was making progress just fine and building gains just fine. Now, I know a lot of that's newbie gains, so I will say that. But there are plenty of carnivores, people who follow the carnivore diet who are building muscle no problem. So again, that's my take. You can look in the description, because I'm going to share some people in the carnivore community that I suggest to look up. Now, let me kind of break down why I like the carnivore diet so much. Or keto or any like similar branch of that, low carb in general. Okay, this is why I like it so much, and this is why it makes sense to me. All right, now when you are on a standard diet and you're eating carbs and all that kind of stuff, your body prioritizes carbs for fuel. Okay, glucose, and it works. It does work. And I've heard it described, and this is the way that I feel and how I have felt being on both sides of things, is that when you run on glucose for fuel, it's like, say you have like a fire burning and you're just throwing newspaper on the fire. Like, yeah, it's burning it, but it's not as substantial of energy as when you burn logs for fuel, for example. And so when you're fat adapted and you're burning fat for fuel, that's like burning logs for fuel on a fireplace. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly what it feels like to me, and what it has felt like. So it's because, like, at 34 years old right now, I could run laps around my 16-year-old self, simply because of being adapted to this lifestyle. Now, I will say, when you first do a keto or carnivore type diet, you are training your body to run differently than what it has been accustomed to if you have not been adapted to this. So there is a transitional period. All right, I accidentally turned off my video, so there's gonna be a cut here. Thankfully, I caught that without talking for that much longer. So let me kind of backtrack a little bit. There is a transitional period, because you are telling your body's already been used to running on glucose / carbs for fuel. And that is its go-to method when carbs and glucose is present. That's what it will prioritize. So whenever you're telling your body to make that switch of, hey, we're not consuming carbs / glucose anymore, so you're gonna have to use your fat stores now, or your fat you intake, either fat intake or your fat stores. Your body has to switch to that, has to get used to it. That's why when I do suggest, when you first start like a carnivore diet or a keto diet and stuff, that you don't go too hard in the exercise department off the bat. Some people can, but for the most part, you're probably not going to have the energy to do that, because you're training your body in a totally different method to use a totally different method of fuel than it's used to. And so there will be an adaptation that goes with that. You're not going to be hitting PRs and stuff like that in your during your adaptation phase. Now, what I did notice, especially, after the first month or after the first 3 months, especially now, and I say, if you're going to do this, you got to do it. Okay, you can't just halfway do it, because if you halfway do it, you're going to like throw your body all out of whack, in my opinion. Some people might cycle and all that kind of stuff. Good for you if it works for you, whatever. But I don't think it's as efficient. I think if you're going to go for this for your health, you gotta go for it. You gotta actually, especially that first 3 months, you gotta go very strict and make sure you're like on point with it, because you're literally like training your body this way. After that first 3 months, if you want to incorporate some cheat days here and there, on a rare occasion or whatever, it's a lot easier to bounce back from. And your body snaps right into getting fat adapted again, like very quickly after that. But again, I'm going to go into more details about cheat days and all that kind of stuff here in a bit. So anyway, that's that. Yeah, if you and I made sure, and for me, because my focus when I first did carnivore diet was for the health aspect of it and balancing my hormones and all that, I made sure I was strict, especially the first 3 months where I didn't have any cheat days at all. And I was on point. Also no processed foods, because there's keto processed foods, dude. There you see food in the store, food at like I don't know, anything packaged and all that kind of stuff that will count net carbs. Okay, you got net carbs and you got total carbs. I personally think it's ideal to just count regular carbs, not net. Because when you're doing the net carbs, it still affects your body differently. And then when you're eating processed foods, it's still junk food and it's still not ideal. All right. Now, if you're really fat, you're still going to get a lot of progress, even if you just count net carbs. But ultimately, you're going to get your best progress health-wise, especially if you cut out the junk. And that includes keto junk. I'm going to go into more about that when I talk about cheat days and stuff, though. So let's move on. Now, this is why I like carnivore and keto so much. And let me pull up this study. And again, this is also, when I talk about, when you see fitness, you see people say calories in versus calories out. It's always said. And yes, there is truth to that. However, I find the calories in versus calories out model extremely flawed. Inherently, like on its own. And a lot of people are like, what? When I say this, but hear me out here, okay? Because macros are crucial, okay? To me, macros are more important than counting total calories. And here's why. All right, let's get into the science of it. There is a study. Crap, where'd it go? There is a study that basically says, here it is. This was a study done by the University of Sydney. It says dieting, why it's not really about calories, low fat, keto, or paleo. And then it says humans, like many other species, actually have a stronger appetite for protein than for the main energy providing nutrients, which are fats and carbohydrates. That means that if the protein in our diet is diluted with fats and carbs, we will eat more energy to get the protein that our bodies crave. And I absolutely 1000% believe this study. 1000%, just from my own anecdotal experience. Now, I gotta say, this is what I firmly believe and scientifically seems to add up. What makes people fat is not necessarily calorie amount inherently. It's the fat and carb combination, okay? Because if you were to eat your calories of the day in just protein, it would be literally impossible for you to get fat. Protein is processed differently in your body than carbs and fat. And especially when you're talking about complete proteins, there's different amino acids and all this kind of stuff, which I can save for another video because I'll talk for days. Now, that's why I believe carnivore and eating meat for protein is exceptionally more efficient than like getting your protein from other sources like plants, because they're just different. They're different. And yeah, your body will process them differently. But that's for another topic. I'll make a whole video about that. And I'm sure a lot of people will be mad at me when I do. But regardless, regardless, let's just talk about protein specifically, okay? Because you need protein for building muscle. You also need protein for maintaining muscle and all that stuff. Now, if you took somebody who ate the exact amount same amount of calories. And this is, again, why calories in versus calories out is flawed on its own. You took Bob, who eats like 3,000 calories of protein a day, and that's it, versus Richard, who eats 3,000 calories of carbs and fats a day. Richard's going to get fat. Bob isn't. That's just how it works. That's how our bodies process these macros, okay? Now, when you look at the foods, delicious foods, you look at pizza, you look at cake, you look at Cinnabons, what are they? They're freaking carbs and fat. That's all they are, basically. So yeah, you eat that way, you're going to get fat. So if you say, I'm going to just count my calories as long as I'm in my calorie limit, then I can eat whatever I want. I'm just going to eat pizza and Cinnabons. At best, you are going to be hungry all the time because your body's going to crave the protein that it needs. You're not going to have much muscle because your body needs protein to maintain muscle, let alone build. You're going to be skinny fat at best and always hungry. Now, here's the thing, is when I eat, if I were to just eat whatever, if I were to eat pizza and Cinnabons, I can eat a whole large stuffed crust pizza and a whole box of Cinnabons, which is goodness knows how many calories, and still be hungry. Literally, like, my appetite is ridiculous if I just eat that way. However, if I were just to eat pure protein, here, let me just eat nothing but sirloin steak, I couldn't eat that much if I tried. You know what I mean? Like, my body is going to feel satiated. And again, like I said, if you just eat pure protein, you can eat it's impossible. It's literally physically impossible to get fat if all you were to eat was protein. Now, that said, I don't encourage people to only eat protein because you need fats. Fats are good for you. They're good for your brain. They're an essential nutrient, macronutrient. Carbohydrates for human beings are not an essential macronutrient. Okay? And here's why. And this is why we don't need to intake carbohydrates. Our bodies create glucose naturally. Now, this is why the argument about, oh, look at what gorillas eat. They eat nothing but grass. We should be eating like them. This is what the argument doesn't work, okay? Because our bodies are different. Gorillas, I should save this for my vegan video I'm going to make. This can make people mad, but whatever. I'm going to go into it. Gorillas have enzymes in their stomach that creates protein. Okay, they've got the enzymes that break down their foods and create protein. Also, when you look at a gorilla or like any herbivore, they eat freaking all day. They're grazing and eating all day just to get the nutrients that they need. But also their bodies, their digestive systems and the enzymes that they have are able to create proteins that they need. We ain't got that, dude. And we need protein. We need it. We need complete proteins. And again, this is for another video. There's this... there's just like the chemistry and all that stuff behind it that but anyway, let me just move forward here. We ain't got that, but what we have is gluconeogenesis. So our bodies are capable of taking protein or fat and converting it into glucose. This is why I'm not necessarily on the whole keto train as the principle of it is supposed to be. Like, a lot of people, especially before, seem to focus on keto as their main goal is to be in ketosis at all times. And to be in ketosis, you really need to have no glycogen stores. And so for a lot of people who follow a keto diet, like that's just like, I gotta be in ketosis. And to do that, then their main macronutrient is fat, and then protein is at a moderate to level or sometimes low. And all they care about is being in ketosis. But even eating that way, your body can still convert fat into glucose as well. So you may not always be in ketosis. So I just anecdotally and all that, like, I couldn't give two craps if I'm in ketosis or not. Doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. Because our bodies do need glucose. But the thing is we don't have to intake it. We create it. And that's why optimally. I find my body runs optimally when I do not intake carbs. My body creates what it needs, and that's that in that department. Now, that said, when you look at the macros side of things, and again, going back to the whole calories in versus out, calories out, and all that, why I think it's flawed and all that, as a whole, is that when you're making your primary focus, hitting your protein goals, and, you know, this can look different for everybody, but as a main principle, I find that if you shoot for 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of goal body weight, whether that's your current weight or whatever your goal is, then anything else you eat can be fat. Then yeah, you're going to be in good shape there, because it's going to be hard to overeat after that point. So, but anyway, yeah, that's something good to shoot for, in my opinion. I don't always hit my protein goal. I'm just going to say that. And I don't like strictly track it either. I just get a general idea. And this is how I portion my foods. I'm just going to show some of my foods, I guess, on the screen maybe. I portion some of my foods to where it's just like, okay, right now, especially at this point now, like I said, when I was first focusing on just building a lot of muscle and stuff, I wasn't focused on like cutting fat or anything. So I didn't track macros at all. I was just eating whatever I wanted as long as it was meat or dairy. I tolerate dairy fine. Some people don't. So if you don't tolerate dairy fine, then you're not going to want to eat dairy, of course. But me, yeah. I had no, I would just eat cheese, as much cheese as I wanted, much sour cream, all that kind of stuff, and all that. Now, these days, okay, let me check my notes. And yeah, I've built muscle just fine, a lot quicker than I even anticipated, eating this way. So yes, you absolutely can and do build muscle, eating this way. You don't have to have carbs. However, after I've done the marine training, all that kind of stuff, did what I needed to do, did what I wanted to do, with, you know, reaching certain, goals and things like that, performance wise. Now, yeah, I'm trying to get that shredded Lara Croft look. Okay. So I'm trying to cut fat to do that, to show my muscles more. And then, I'll probably want to go into more of a building stage again later and repeat, as you do with cutting and bulking and all that good stuff. But right now I'm more focused on cutting. So for that reason, I have adjusted my macros. So when you're not overweight or fat, and you're really trying to get that extra amount of lean, that's when you have to really fine tune it. Okay. Now, like I said before, if you're fat, you don't have to get that specific with the macros, as long as you're not intaking carbs, like you're going to be dropping weight. Now, once you hit that plateau, though, you're gonna want to monitor your protein to fat intake, because since your body runs on fat for fuel, any excess fat that you eat is either going to be stored on your body. So yeah, you can gain weight. You can gain, and some people do, and some people want to, which is fine. But some people don't want to, and they're still gaining weight eating this way, and they're like, how is this happening? It's because you're intaking too much fat, because your body is going to burn the fat that you eat first, and once it's burned all that, it's going to burn the fat on your body. Okay, so if you're eating more fat than your body's burning, you're going to gain fat, period. Now, again, with protein, that's different, because your body processes protein differently. But this is essentially how keto and carnivore and all that kind of stuff works, is that your body uses fat for fuels, whether that be fat that you intake or fat on your body. So because of that, and I'm focusing more on cutting, it's not practical to only eat protein, because you still do need fats. However, there's ways you can balance it. And for me, what I do with that now, and this is like a perfect week, okay? Because I'm not always perfect, but this is like a perfect week. So on a perfect week, what I would do is, let's see, I would do like, what, 3 days of high or like high protein always for me. 3 days of high protein and moderate fat. Okay. You can get very specific if you want when you track this, but to me, I just kind of gauge it, intuitively. I'll just be like, okay, here's my main food source right now. It is lean sirloin steaks with lean chicken breast and shrimp. You know, that's my main course here, okay? And then let me add some cheese and sour cream on the side as my fats, and because they taste good, that I need. So at a moderate level, okay? So I'll do that. Then I'll have, what I say, I do that 3 days. And then I'll do like 3 days. And these are sometimes alternative. They're not like 3 days of this, 3 days exactly like that. Alternate. Sometimes I kind of like to alternate them. And then I'll have 3 days where I just do high protein, low fat. So I'll keep like my protein levels high as I needed. And then the fats I have on the side will be at a low level for about 3 days. And that'll help you cut. But you can't, that's not sustainable to do every single day. Would not advise. But to incorporate, a couple days of that a week will help you cut fast. And then I like to have like one high fat day a week. Just because, I love cheese. And also, fats are good for you. So, an example of that, and I have a video on TikTok where I made this, would be a broccoli cheddar soup, a modified broccoli cheddar soup that I make. Granted, I don't put broccoli in it because I'm carnivore based. I can go into detail about why I don't eat vegetables for the most part. People think it's crazy. I thought it was crazy when I first heard of it, but there's like oxalates, and plants do not like to be eaten, so they do release toxins when you eat them. And again, there's varying levels, and there's some plants are more toxic than others. But again, I'm going to save that for another video. So call me crazy. Yeah, that's fine. But again, I've had blood work done since then. My health has never been better. So no, you do not need plants. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't. Okay. This is my opinion and my anecdotal experience. And there are people who have eaten this way for like a very, very, very long time, like over a decade and stuff, absolutely thriving, looking amazing, plenty of muscle, and just like in the most amazing health. So, okay, people in the comments are just gonna like go crazy, but regardless, let's keep going. So yeah, that's kind of that's what I do when I eat. Now, I will say for myself, I pretty much stick to eating the same things most days. Also, I can make a whole other video about this too when it comes to eating windows, intermittent fasting, all this. I naturally intermittent fast, and I don't necessarily do this on purpose. It's just when I eat this way, I feel satiated. I'm getting the protein I need, so my body is not hungry, and I do not even feel like snacking that much. So usually I'll have 2 meals a day and 1 snack within about a 6-hour eating window. Usually, again, this isn't deliberate. It's just naturally how I feel. Yeah. That's just naturally when I want to eat. So, you can do a lot of research on that. And again, I can make more videos about this later. Some people do 1 meal a day, 1 giant meal a day. I've done that before. But I find that on average, I just tend to do like 2 meals a day and maybe 1 snack. Like a post-workout, I like to eat a can of smoked oysters, for example. Now, that's just, yeah, that's how I do it. That seems to just be optimal for me. So, let's move on. I have like future videos I want to make. And any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer them. So let's move on. Oh, let's talk about cheat days. Okay, because I just described my optimal, like my perfect diet week. A perfect way of eating, I should say. I'll say too, the best thing for me when it comes to like carnivore diet, keto-based diets, all that kind of stuff, low-carb diets in general, is like bloating is never an issue. And if it is, then you likely are eating something that your body doesn't agree with. Maybe you don't tolerate dairy, so cut that out, or whatever it may be. Some people do have histamine reactions, and that's a thing for them. So that would be something to look into. But for the most part, and what I've seen with myself and what seems to be a trend with most people who eat a carnivore diet is that bloating is never an issue. And you'll see a lot of fitness influencers even that'll show pictures of themselves that who are not eating this way. And again, I'm not knocking them. Clearly what they're doing is working for them, but I am of the opinion that whenever someone shows themselves and they're like, this is what I look like when I first wake up, and then this is what I look like at the end of the day after I've eaten, and their stomachs are like extremely bloated, dude. Like they will look 6 months pregnant or more after eating. and it's touted as normal. I don't think that's good. I'm not an expert, so take that what you will. And I will say, I do not experience that level of bloating even close. Because I eat this way, naturally, the food that is in my stomach, there's a little bit of extra food room. Like my stomach's going to be flatter when my stomach is empty in the morning, versus right after I eat. But the difference is not that much, like not that much at all. I have no bloating at all, unless it's like right before my period or something. I mean, even then it's not even that bad. That is probably one of my favorite things about eating this way is bloating is never an issue. And so if you are getting bloating, especially at that excessive degree, I don't think it's really normal. It's normal if you eat stuff that the food pyramid tells you to eat. It's normal if you eat carby foods, honestly. But that just doesn't seem healthy to me. Just doesn't. It shouldn't be normal to be bloating at that level. It shouldn't be. And you don't have to be bloating at that level. To me, that's your body like rejecting something. Now some plants make me bloat too, like broccoli or something. That's one reason why I don't eat plants. And again, that's for another video. You can go into oxalates and the toxins they release and all that kind of stuff. Plants really can be bad for your digestion. Okay, I'm gonna keep going because y'all already think I'm crazy. Okay, let me talk about cheat days. Now, sometimes I will have a cheat day, but not that often. And I tell you, especially after eating this way, as long as I have, whenever I do incorporate a bad cheat day, like a bunch of Cinnabons or something, then it usually takes like a week for me to recover from that. I will get bloating, I will get water retention, I'll feel sluggish, all that kind of stuff. So just off one cheat day, and to me, it's not worth it. It's not worth that recovery period. I don't like it, and I feel like garbage. And at the end of the day, it's like, dude, would I eat Play-Doh because it tastes good when it's bad for you? No. So why am I eating this crap? So that's what I tell myself. But still, there are special occasions that sometimes we want to go all crazy on a little bit here and there, such as life. For the most part, however, what I do for a cheat day, if I'm just at a point where I'm just like, dude, I'm craving something sweet really bad, then I'll do a keto cheat day. There's like this local keto place near me that makes keto cheesecakes. They make keto pizza, all that kind of stuff. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier when it comes to net carbs versus total carbs, however. So, the actual carb content is higher, but they net at a keto level. So I will eat those as a treat. However, I usually, when that happens, my progress is stalled or at least slowed down slowed down significantly versus if I were not to eat those. However, I do not get that excessive water retention and bloating and week of recovery that I need otherwise on an otherwise carby cheat day. So if I'm like, dude, I need a special treat, then I'll do I tend to gravitate toward keto. And there are keto processed foods like protein bars and things like that, which are, sometimes if you're traveling, you're at an airport or something, you don't have a lot of options. You can grab a Quest bar, for example, that has, net keto level carbs. The total carbs are higher, but the net is lower. There are some points where it's harder to just stay strict. And so you might want to do what's easier at the time. But, I still get some bloating. I still get some water retention. I still get some level of sluggishness when I eat that way, because processed foods in general are not good for you anyway. And they usually have a lot of seed oils, and which are basically the worst thing in the world for you. So I do not advise them. But if I'm just must have some sort of cheat day, then that is the preferred method for me, because I do recover a lot quicker. All right, now let's move on. Let's talk about some people from the community that I've been coaching. So I'm extremely proud of them, by the way. This was a completely at-will experience. They were my guinea pigs on this. I just posted on my Discord server. I was like, anybody want some health coaching from me? And just to see what happens. They're like, yeah, they signed these waivers because, like, I ain't trying to be responsible if they had a negative experience. Like, they're all my little guinea pigs, and I love them. God bless them. So that happened. There were a lot more people who wanted to try, but then once they saw my PDF and they saw that it was going to be keto, which to me, I'm like, if you've been following me for any amount of time, especially recently, you should know that my guides were going to be, you know, of the keto variety or low carb variety. But so some people were tuned out right after that. They're like, dude, no, I need my bread or whatever it is that's their vice. So it's fine. Like, nobody has to do this. It's completely at will. So if anybody at any point wanted to quit, even after starting, like, I completely respect that. But we did, you know, narrow it down to people who were going to be dedicated. And there are a couple people here, or like 4, who told me I could share their progress at the 1 month mark. And I can't even tell you how happy I am about this. So let's start with Carmel. Now I'm going to post all their social medias and stuff. I'll try to put them on the screen or in the description or both. Now Carmel, she in 1 month dropped 12 pounds. Okay. Now here's the thing is in the PDF and stuff like that too. I didn't want to make everybody just jump straight into just strict carnivore. And also you don't necessarily have to in general. I prefer it for myself, for my own hormonal issues and all that kind of stuff. But even just a low carb lifestyle in general is extremely beneficial, can be extremely beneficial in my opinion, without having to go super crazy with the whole like no veggies or anything like that. But that's just how I do it. Everybody's going to have their different levels and their different preferences. But in general, I do think that a low carb lifestyle is just exceptional. Now, I had it in my guide where you can ease into it so that to try to avoid that keto flu or whatever. But I'm pretty sure everybody just jumped in anyway and have done exceptionally well. Now look at Carmel here. She in 1 month is down 12 pounds and it looks like more. That's the insane thing about it. I mean, it looks like more. I mean, 12 pounds is a lot, but it looks like I swear, just 1 month, man. Look at her progress in 1 month. She looks amazing. She's doing so incredible. And she has her Instagram. She made like a fitness Instagram where she posts her food and stuff. And I'm just like so freaking proud of her when I see, and all the meals she makes looks amazing. So she is just slaying it. I could not be more happy with her results. Just absolute queen status here. And I'm really excited to see how she progresses. This girl is dedicated. She's in it, man. Like, she's in it. And she has been doing an amazing job. Now let's go move on to one more level here. He, 1 month, is down at least 14 pounds, I believe. And you can see in these pictures, like, he's already starting to get abs. Like, dude, killing it. I'm extremely proud. Just absolutely amazing. And it's funny because before I saw their pictures, they're telling me in the Discord group, hey, everything's going great. You know, I'm really excited. And so I was happy for him and all that. But when I saw the pictures, I was like, whoa, just the progress was so much better than I even anticipated. Just absolutely blown away by this. Now, let me move on to Rye here. Now, Rye is an example of somebody who wasn't trying to lose a lot of weight. He was trying to tone up, you know, because he didn't have a whole lot of weight to lose. This is why I can't stress enough how important pictures are, because the scale isn't going to track your progress like pictures will. Now, Rye is down 6 pounds. And as you can see in the pictures, though, like, his face and his waist have, like, drastically leaned out. In just 1 month already. Just amazing. Now, and again, this is why I like pictures to compare over using a scale. Now, if you're really fat, a scale is going to be good for you. Or even if you're a little fat, scale is going to be good for you because you will be able to track. But once you reach a certain point, the scale may not move at all. I've seen in some of these carnivore groups I'm in, I've seen people drop multiple pant sizes and the scale not move at all. Okay, so this is why it's important measurements, or at the very least pictures, measurements, and then, you know, being mindful of how your clothes are fitting and stuff like that. Because, yeah, the scale is not always going to be accurate for you in your progress. So these are just massive, massive improvements already. And I'm just like really excited to see how their journey unfolds further. I'm so proud of them. They've been just killing it. Now, let's look at Anthony here. Anthony, he isn't in my Discord for this. I'm probably gonna add him though now, because basically Anthony just like kept up on Twitter with me, and then he started saying like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym now, and started replying to me and showing me like he tweets me pictures when he goes to the gym, and I love it. I think it's amazing. He's like, you've inspired me, look, I'm at the gym, and all this kind of stuff. I love that. And so then he asked for advice with food and stuff like that, and I told him you know, I told him basically like a low carb lifestyle is good. And so he started that. And then I sent him the PDF that I have in the description here. It's only been 2 weeks, and like, look at this progress so far in these pictures. I'm just like, wow, this is great. He hasn't weighed himself, so I don't know how much he's down in weight. He hasn't weighed since he weighed before, but he hasn't weighed recently. So can't tell exactly how much weight he's lost, but I mean, you can see just in 2 weeks, you can definitely see that he's losing weight. And I'm so freaking proud of him. And he cooks he shows me the food that he cooks on Twitter, and looks amazing. Like, looks good. He's a good cook by the look of it. So super proud of him too. I'm just like, this is exciting to me to be helping them, all of them, with what I have. You know, I made the PDFs, and then whenever they have questions about anything, they let me know on the Discord server, and I help them. But I've got to give credit to them, because they're staying disciplined, and they're just doing it. They're just killing it. Like, all credit goes to them for being as disciplined and amazing as they are with it. All right. Now, let me move on to supplements, because a lot of people ask if I supplement anything eating this way. And for the most part, I do not. But there are some things I did start supplementing that I find have helped me feel better and good and all that kind of stuff. Some people who eat a carnivore or a low carb diet don't supplement at all. And especially if they're eating organ meats, which are extremely nutrient dense and all that kind of stuff, then they don't find the need to do that. They're getting everything they need, and their lab works and all that kind of stuff, their blood works and all that, are showing up great, and they don't need anything. I find for me, I do supplement iodine, because I mean, there's a Dr. Ken Berry video that goes into detail about iodine deficiency and all that. And it's not even just low carb dieters, it's just everybody can benefit from supplementing iodine, and all that kind of stuff, according to his video. And also, iodine decalcifies your pineal gland, and y'all know, a bit of a conspiracy theorist, so that's, yeah, that third eye, man, I'm about it. So I supplement iodine for that reason. I can't say in particular that I noticed that, oh, this has definitely helped, but maybe I still do it just because I don't know how to measure the benefits of iodine specifically. I'm sure it's helping me, but I can't say that it definitely is. But I started doing that. I haven't been as consistent with supplementing it, but I'm trying to remember every day now. Now, other than that, let's talk electrolytes. Because a lot of times, you know, you might get leg cramps or something, and that could be a signal that you need more potassium. All right. So if you're not eating enough organ meats, like I don't eat enough organ meats, so, and all that. So now let me just, disclaimer, obviously I'm sponsored by G Fuel, so take of this what you will, but I like to drink the G Fuel hydration formulas because they have the electrolytes in them, and they just simply taste better than making my own electrolyte drinks. Because when I make my own electrolyte drinks, which I've done in the past, it's just salt, potassium, magnesium, and it tastes like salty water essentially. Doesn't taste that good. So when I'm able to get my electrolytes through G Fuel hydration formulas, I feel better. It tastes better. So that's what I recommend if that's something you want to consider. But if you want to make your own, go for it. Like, you don't have to use the G Fuel. That's just what I do. Now, If you do make your own electrolyte drinks, just be careful and do not exceed what is recommended for especially potassium, because you can literally give yourself a heart attack if you supplement too much potassium. All right. Again, it's another reason why I like to just use the hydration formulas, because they're balanced and all that kind of stuff. I don't have to worry about going crazy on things. Now, I'd say the biggest problem I've had when it comes to negative effects from carnivore has been sleep. If I do not supplement, I find that I can go nights where I only sleep like an hour or two a night. I'm just wired. I just can't sleep sometimes. And that's if I'm not getting my electrolytes or magnesium especially in, because again, I don't eat enough organ meats, so I'm not getting all of, so sometimes I'm not getting what I need electrolyte wise. So I do find that when I supplement magnesium before I go to bed, then I don't really have this issue for the most part. I think another part of it is just that I just in general have tons more energy than usual when I eat this way. So yeah, it's harder to sleep when you're wired all the time. You got tons of energy. I swear I can go to the gym. Like, there's times where I go to the gym and like get my butt kicked at the gym, and then I'll come home and I'll have so much energy still, and I'll ride my bicycle for a freaking mile or something and like still be wired. So I just have tons and tons of energy for the most part. I eat this way. So I do take magnesium for bed, and that helps. Now, again, some people don't need to do any of that when they eat organ meats and stuff. Some people don't eat organ meats at all, and they still don't need any of it. I don't know. They're still getting what they need with their food. So you will have to play that by ear if you decide to try this. All right, now that this is a very long video, let me go into my exercise routine. Okay. Now, I did most of this through trial and error, but I did get helpful advice from my marine mentors, which again, you can watch those marine videos and see how that went and all that good stuff. They've been amazing. I still keep in touch with them, and I think I said that earlier. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah. Now, let me also talk about personal trainer. Now, if you can work with a trainer, that's obviously ideal because they're the experts and they can help you with your form and stuff like that. Now, I worked with Amanda. She is one of the best human beings in the world. She's freaking amazing. Just a very kind, genuine person. And she's also just a really good trainer in general. Like, she knows her stuff and she's good. Now, when I initially started my marine training, I trained with her for about a month, once a week for about a month. It was great. Amazing. And then after that, I was just trying to figure it out on my own. And just went to the gym and did my own routine, from there. Now, let me get to my notes here really quick so I can, okay. So yeah, this has been a trial and error process for me. At first, my focus was mostly utility. I needed to make sure I could do everything I wanted to do for the marine training. So when it comes to pull-ups and push-ups, planks, running a 1.5 mile run as fast as I can. Okay, so yeah, for that, the first 4 months doing all that and keeping up with all that, I was going to the gym 6 days a week, and I was consistent with it. I'm telling you, for those 4 months, it was extremely rare that I didn't do 6 days a week of training. And if I didn't do 6 days a week, I still did, 3 to 5. But for the high majority of those 4 months, I was 6 days a week, like, on it. Now, because I was training for a specific utility, I didn't train lower body at all. First of all, because, just how I genetically am, my lower body is stronger than my upper body. I'm a woman, all that kind of stuff is pretty natural for most women anyway. So I didn't feel the need as much there. And for the utility that I needed, I didn't need to train lower body. I needed upper body strength, which was my weakest. I was extremely frail in the shoulder department. Like, my shoulders were sloped. That's how, like, they were literally, like, sloped, and just very, like, my posture was bad and my shoulders were sloped. I had no muscle None upper body wise. So I train upper body every other day, literally every other day. And then I would do cardio every other day because my goal was to run 1.5 miles as fast as possible. So I'd do that. I'd alternate those. I'm about to sneeze, but we're going to try not to. Now, when I trained upper body and focusing on utility, that's why I focus a lot on the assisted pull-up machine. Okay. And then I would rotate between like 3 or 4 different machines in general. And I do this for 30 minutes to an hour. At first it was only 30 minutes at a time because like it was kicking my butt. I went from being a sedentary gamer, a weak sedentary gamer with no muscle, you know, so I had to start off, you know, only 30 minutes, and then I was able to push that up to an hour. Now I did, in terms of weight and heaviness, let's say for example, the machines I did were for the things I needed, like assisted pull-up machine. I did like the machine that you do this, like chest muscles, the tricep dip machine, and whatever else. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm just like drawing a blank and I've been talking for a long time. So anyway, my goal was, in terms of weight and heaviness, I wanted to hit 8 to 12 reps per set, to the point where my form by that, either by 8 to 12 reps would be, you know, I can't think right now. I've been talking so long, but no, where my form would be compromised. Okay. So once I started to like be wobbly and I have terrible form, then I knew, okay, that's where I stopped. As long as the weight would be heavy enough to where by 8 to 12, that would start happening. Okay. That's how I gauged how much weight I wanted to use. I didn't train to failure. Some people do, but I just don't. So that's how I did it. And then I would do like 5 sets. So, for example, assisted pull-ups. I knock out like 8 to 12 first set. And I'm struggling like, oh, okay, I'm really shaky. And then by the 8 to 12, then I like rest for 30 minutes or 30 seconds to a minute or however long. Until, okay, breathe. Okay, let's go. 8 to 12 reps again. Losing my form. Okay. Again and again. 5 reps or 5 sets. Until I hit 5 sets of that. Okay. Then I would go from that machine to the tricep dip machine, for example. Again, 8 to 12 reps. Struggle. Okay. Rest a little bit. Do another set. 5 sets. Move to the other machine. Same thing. 5 sets. And just rotate from machine to machine. I do this until I hit 30 minutes to an hour. Worked myself up to an hour every time. So yeah, it looks different however many exercises you get to, but I like to pick anywhere between 3 and 4 machines and just rotate them. Do that. I noticed my progress. The first thing I noticed was building my shoulders and back, because my shoulders and lats / back in general were the most underdeveloped, so they were the quickest thing to start growing and developing for me. Which has also helped with that silhouette, giving me more of the hourglass shape that I desired. And also like my posture, all that kind of stuff. Like when I look at older pictures and I see my shoulders were sloping and stuff and they don't anymore, and I'm like, yes, let's go. So I'm about it. So, that's what I did. And then, on every other day, so I do that every other day, arms and back. And then on the other days, I would just go on the treadmill and run for 1.5 miles. Now, my times would be different depending on the day, and how I felt and all that kind of stuff. And that's the thing, is progress is never linear. So you're not just going to go every single day at the gym and every day you're always improving. Okay? It's not going to be like that. Some days you're going to be weaker than others. It's just how it is. And then some days you're going to be stronger. Some days you're going to break records. Some days you're not. But overall, over time, it looks like this, but it's still working its way up. You know what I mean? So I did that for 4 months. That was my routine. That was it. 4 months, I think. 4 months-ish. You can watch my marine training videos, because I talk about more there. Until I was able to do what I needed to do. So after I finished the marine training stuff, I was like, let me play around with this a little different. I wanted to do more free weight stuff. So I also was over it with cardio. I'm just gonna admit, I don't like cardio that much. It's not as enjoyable for me. So at one point, I decided, and I also decided to just like go kind of ham, okay, in general. So what I was doing was like a lot of dumbbell stuff with free weights, because it's it's easier for me just to go there, and I'm introverted, so I don't want to be like at the very popular machines and stuff that long. So I grab my dumbbells, find my corner with a bench, and do what I need to do. So, Coltrane. Coltrane's playing with this plastic bag. So anyway, what I did then for a bit, now I've changed it. Currently, it's a little different. So I've tried this. I was going ham, man. I'd have an arm day, a leg day, and then even on those days with the weights, I would do like 10 minutes on the Stairmaster and end with 10 minutes on the Stairmaster. I was like trying to go as ham as possible here. And then, so arm day, leg day, cardio day, which would be, the cardio day would be about 30 minutes to an hour on the Stairmaster, which kicked my freaking butt, dude. It did. And so I'd rotate those. Arm day, leg day, Stairmaster day, arm day, leg day, Stairmaster day. Yeah. Now, that was kicking my butt a lot. And I kind of like taking it a little easier these days. I'm still getting great results. So I don't know. Yeah. So now I do things just a little bit different, and I'm just going to go into detail. That routine did work well for me though, and I might work my way up back to that again, but I just felt like I found that when I was going that hard, then just having that one recovery day a week, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was enough. I don't know, I just felt like I was overworking a little bit. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't, I don't know, but it did feel tough, man. Like, it felt tough. It was kicking my butt. So now what I do, this is what I do now, and maybe I'll work my way up to that again, but this is what I do now that I find is a good balance. I'm still getting the results I want, but I'm not feeling like I'm dying. Now, dude, my animals, dude, what y'all doing? Okay, so now what I do is I like to do upper body day. Zoe, why are you trying to get on that box? My dog. Okay, I like to do an upper body day. With the dumbbells and stuff still. Whether that be like bent over. It's kind of the same principle as what I was doing with the machines, and I did start incorporating again doing the pull-up machine because I noticed that I'm not as good as pull-ups as I was when I was doing them every other day, and I kind of want to get better at that. So, I'd use that, and then for the dumbbells and stuff, I'll do like different things. I'll do like dumbbell bench press. Same principle in terms of reps and sets that I mentioned earlier. Same principle. So rotating between different. So on an arm day, I might do like the assisted pull-ups, and then I might do like dumbbell bench presses and bent over rows, and then bicep curls, for example. So that might be my arm/back day, and I just rotate all those four. Same principle with the sets and the reps again, that I mentioned before. 8 to 12 reps, 5 sets, and I do that until I reach an hour. Or on a lazier day, 40 minutes, but usually an hour. Same day with leg day, I pick 4 different workouts. I usually like them to be weighted, like weighted goblet squats, deadlifts, weighted lunges, and then the leg press machine, for example. Rotate all those. So yeah, I do find sometimes I don't like training legs as much, so sometimes I will do like 2 arm days a week if I'm just like, it's just my fave, but I'm trying to incorporate more leg days. So I optimally or the goal is like arm/back day, and then the next day steady state cardio. Started incorporating that. The Stairmaster was great, but I've kind of taken it a little more easy now again, like I said, for just recovery purposes and all that kind of stuff. And I do steady state cardio for like 40 minutes to an hour every other day now. I'll just go on a treadmill. So I have a treadmill at home, so sometimes I don't even go to the gym for the steady state cardio days. And if I'm at the gym, I'll listen to music or watch their little TV that they have on there. And then if I'm at home, I'll just like put on some anime or watch some YouTube videos or something, while I'm just, at a steady pace. I'm not running. I'm not jogging. I'm just like at a very brisk walk. Okay. For about an hour, 40 minutes to an hour, usually an hour. So I do that every other day. So arm day. So this is what an example of my week looks like. Arm day, steady state cardio day. And I find steady state cardio feels like a recovery day to me. Cause even though I'm still getting a good workout, it feels like it doesn't kick my butt as much as the Stairmaster does. So I feel like I'm still getting a workout, but I'm also still recovering at the same time and not absolutely murdering myself. Arm day, steady state cardio day. Leg day, or the way it's split throughout the week. Arm day, steady state cardio day. Full body day when I train with Amanda now, because I started training with her again the past 3 weeks, at the time of me filming this. And this is why I think having a trainer just helps, because a lot of my form and stuff with things, I find that hasn't been perfect, and she's been able to point that out, and she's been able to help. So again, it's great if you can train with a trainer. And so I definitely notice whenever I train with her, I get a better workout than when I train just myself, because she's able to, she's the expert, you know what I mean? So that's how it is. But you can still get a lot done on yourself, but by yourself too. So not knocking that, but just saying. So yeah, arm day, steady state cardio day, full body workout with Amanda, steady state cardio day, leg day, steady state cardio day, rest day. And I didn't mean to flip y'all off. So that's what I do. Now let me talk about, before I close, I'm getting, this video is so exceptionally long, so I'm trying to like close out here. Now that's, again, when I talk about this routine now, that's a perfect week. That's a perfect week where I do everything I want to do. And I find that this balance is good for me, because I am able to get 6 workouts in a week, and I'm not feeling like I'm dying. I feel like the steady state days help a lot, because I'm simultaneously still recovering while also getting some of a workout in. So this seems to be, for me, what I find my sweet spot. I think this is perfect for me. Right now, presently at least. I'm sure I will adjust this in the future, but right now this is good. Now I will say, this is a perfect week if I am on point. Now, I'm not always 6 days a week at the gym. There are times where I have been stressed or overwhelmed or just had a lot going on, or visiting family where I'm not on point, okay? That's going to happen, and it's okay. You just can't beat yourself up over it. But also, you can't let that happen too much, though, or you'll find that you'll fall off track altogether. So whenever that does happen, then I'll just make sure I get right back on track, and I'm good. So for the most part, the goal is 6 days a week, but some days I'll only work out 3 days a week. But I find consistently I do work out 3 to 6 days a week, period. The longest I've gone in the past 4 months without working out at all, I want to say, has only been 5 days in a row. And that's not happened that often. That's only happened like a couple times. It's very rare that I'll go that long without working out. And that's been when I'm particularly stressed or visiting family. I've gone 5 days in a row without working out, I think. But that's not common. That's only happened a very small number of times. And then I hop right back on. So, yeah. Again, that's how it is. I make sure I stay consistent. And that's how you get results, is being consistent. So the important thing is, when you do fall off the wagon, diet or exercise wise, just get back on. Okay? Just get back on. And you got, thank goodness you got muscle memory, and you also got like, when it comes to my diet, for example, I'm fat adapted. I'm adapted, and my body is used to functioning this way, because I've been eating carnivore diet for almost 2 years now. So whenever I do fall off the wagon, even if I had like a whole week where I just ate crap, getting back on, yeah, it's still gonna take some time for the inflammation and water retention to go down, but I don't go through keto flu every single time, because my body is just like, okay, we're back on track now, so that's that. Consistency is key when it comes to working out, especially, and this is something that I've seen, and I believe, is that just getting started on something, just being active and just getting something going, like even A less than optimal workout routine is better than no routine at all. The most important thing is to just get started and get going. So any routine that you can stick to, as long as you're not like hurting yourself and doing bad form and stuff like that, is going to benefit you. Okay. And there's all kinds of research and there's all kinds of other stuff you can do to find. And especially if you're able to work with a trainer, then you're really going to get that sweet spot. And you're really going to find the most improvement and all that. So anyway, that's that. This is it. This video is so long. I don't even know who has the retention to watch this all. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions about anything in the comments. I'd be happy to make a series of videos on this. This is only scratching the surface for me, especially when it comes to nutrition, because like that's what I'm really passionate about, is the nutrition side of things, and that's what I've seen so much drastic improvement in my own overall health with. So there's so much I can talk about that. With the fitness, like with the working out stuff, I do not even remotely count myself even close to really knowing what I'm doing, period. But I'm getting progress. So again, like I said, any type of routine you can get to and stick to is going to benefit you as long as you're not hurting yourself on it. So, yeah. But yeah, especially with nutrition, that's where I feel like I can talk about that for days, man. So, and that's something that I'm like considering. Again, I get my nutrition license because I just enjoy it. I'm very passionate about nutrition in general and all this stuff that I've studied. So check out the description if you want to try the whole coaching thing that I've outlined for everybody else that I've been coaching. And then any other resources, because there's all kinds of resources I do want to share of things that have helped keep me motivated and that have helped me education-wise to learn more about things. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And I will talk to y'all later. Peace.